Hello, we have a couple people joining us so far. I have about a dozen commitments, so I'm going to give people a couple minutes to log on before we get started. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. I just want to go through a couple of the things that, first off, I apologize for setting up a hangout instead of meeting with you personally, but you would not be able to park up here. It's really that much of a mess. Plus, I've been trying to find an excuse to set up a Google Hangout and try it out. So if you don't have, if you have a personal Google account, you can try that as an option if you're not getting the video. If not, if you have a personal one, try that one. If your district one is not working, the district just enabled Google Hangouts for all accounts. It was hit and miss whether you were approved prior to today. So we're gonna see how it works. If you can join us, thanks for hanging in there. And if you can just find other ways, try it on your phone or through your personal Google account, please give it a shot. So I'll give a couple minutes, well, a minute for people to try to straighten out their access. I just got an email from someone that they're trying to log on, so I'll give them 30 seconds to log on. All right, so let's get going. I'm gonna post this if people can't get to it, but I just want to go through it. So we always start with the vision and the mission. Passaic Public Schools will be the best urban school system in the state of New Jersey. Everything that we do is focused on us achieving our vision, right? Because ultimately our product is our children. So in order for us, our children deserve us to be at our best. So we work diligently to fulfill the vision. And our mission, the Passaic Public Schools will provide an excellent education that prepares our students for college and to earn high-paying jobs. This is a pre-K-12 mission, and everything that we also do is understanding what we want our output to ultimately be for the lives of our kids. So what we're working on now is the Spring and Summer 2016 Professional Learning Series, which is going to take the model that we started over the summer with the Summer Learning Institute and bring it to the regular school year. So what the PLS, I'm a guy for acronyms, drive some people crazy. What the PLS is going to focus in on is using our best educators to come up with professional development that's based on the actual experience in the classroom and what's going on in our district, as opposed to solely topics that we may be strong in. So what we want is organic and authentic professional growth, right? So the PD that we develop is going to be for us and by us. Everything that we do is going to be data driven. So we want it to be based on something. We don't want it to be just based on our field. So if you can do it, if you have some data to substantiate any professional development that you may want to do, that's the direction that we need to go in, right? And if you have a question right now, as we work through the kinks in this, just email me your questions. I have my email open on my phone. So I'm checking questions in the meantime, right? Because right now it's not an interactive. So just send me an email and I'll get you a question. I'll get to your question. So everything's going to be data driven. It's going to be by our best people, and it's going to be based on what we actually need, right? So for us, by our best, based on both quantitative and the qualitative data. So where do we get this data, right? So student achievement data, right? How are our kids actually performing on assessments, whether in-class assessment, whether formative or summative assessments, or any data points that a group of teachers will have access to, right? But also observation data. Now, in order to get access to what's going on in observations in your school, reach out to your SCIPs. I'm generating a report, an updated report on our observation data that I'm going to share with SCIPs as soon as we finish here. So you'll have access to raw observation data that you can use, and obviously names would be removed, but you can get a profile of what your school is looking like. And instructional rounds patterns, right? Of course, we're entrenched in the process of instructional rounds. So we want to put that data into place, right? What are we seeing in our classrooms? What's the conversations that's happening or not happening around the instruction? What are our patterns saying? Not only what are the patterns that are found, but the patterns that are agreed upon when they're presented to the schools. So we don't want to just use. So if you're one of the folks that are a part of instructional rounds, don't use the raw patterns that I email out. If you have any questions about the instructional rounds that are actually occurring and the patterns that are accepted between the faculty and the presentation. So student achievement data, as teachers, you all know the data points, but just to go through a few, just so you know, if you're able to get your data from SchoolNet, there are some challenges in SchoolNet, but folks are working diligently to clean it up. And if you have a question, just reach out to your school data team and you can really access the same data. Park assessment data is in, so we know how our kids have performed last year. If you're in fourth grade and above, you have Park data that you can access. Map data for our lower grades. So you have access to that. And also any benchmark assessments that you may issue during the school year, right? So let's just use our data to inform not necessarily the skills that our teachers may need, but to use it as a reference on how we need to strengthen our students' understanding of topics, right? So if our students are struggling in a specific area, the focus is not necessarily on the teacher's weakness that they need to develop, but how can we reach students where they are, right? So that's why we use student achievement data, so that we can develop teachers' instructional skills so that they can meet students where they are. So it's not calling out anyone's weakness, it's calling out, how can we best support our kids? And I already spoke to how you would obtain the evaluation data. So that's going to come up from the SCIPs. So reach out to your SCIPs. So what are our instructional rounds telling us so far? Right. I just read a chapter in the book, Good to Great. And the chapter was titled Confronting the Brutal Facts. So in that, guys, that's where this slide is coming from. And this is a snapshot of what our instructional rounds data from 15-16, as we have visited 10 schools already, 12 schools, as we visited 12 schools in the district. Each one, these are all patterns that were accepted by the faculty when brought back, but also presented, and been consistent across all of those 12 schools. The majority of teacher questions are on the recall and understanding level of Bloom's taxonomy. So professional development circle focused on increasing the level of Bloom's taxonomy when it comes to questioning would be apropos. The tasks as well are coming out on the recall and understanding level. So our students are not engaged in tasks that are higher level according to Bloom's. Now, when it comes to technology, I know many people like to present about the use of technology. Technology is used as a substitute according to the SAMR model. If you have, I'll post some stuff about the SAMR model on the staff development webpage. So if you can get to that, I'm gonna put up some things about the SAMR model, or you can just Google it. I mean, I'm not gonna develop anything different because it's not ours. I'm just gonna share links anyway. So if you just want to Google SAMR, and you'll take a look. Feedback to students is typically praise and not purposeful feedback, right? Praise is always controversial when you talk to teachers. We're used to doing the pat on the back and the pat on the head and moving forward, but we want to change. We want to move as we would like our feedback to be purposeful so that we can grow. We would like the feedback that we provide to our students to serve the same purpose, right? So, good job, Johnny, right? As opposed to, I see everyone has their books out, right, and is ready to work, right? So just moving and changing the language that we use and discussing where praise fits and where feedback is most appropriate. So student engagement is not authentic according to the Schlechte model, right? So once again, Schlechte, I'll post some things on the staff development webpage, but it's also a quote unquote Googleable thing as well, so you can understand where our students lie, and ultimately disengaged students are not performing, right, as well as they can. So we want to make sure that we're engaging them in an authentic fashion. Teachers ask all of the questions, right? How can we get our students to ask more questions in our classrooms? Right. So how can our PD presenters help? One, develop purposeful learning opportunities based on all of the things that we kind of covered already, right? So things that are not just a specialty or that are new, things that we don't do, but tie it back to the things that are actually occurring in our district from a data perspective. So if you have data that can support a proposal, feel free to create the course and provide a description, and we learn. When do we want these occur? We're mainly talking about after school, Saturdays, or school-based PLCs, right? So PLCs would obviously have to be created in conjunction with building leadership, unless you develop a lunchtime PLC or something like that. But if you want to create a PLC, please make sure you work with your building leadership as well. Right? So the opportunities that we're looking for, we want to really develop a catalog of opportunities if we can for after school Saturdays, as well as school-based PLCs that folks will be able to take advantage of. So any questions or anything, just shoot me an email, and we'll keep the conversation going. But we're at the point now where I'm looking for folks to begin creating courses in WeLearn for us to review, based on any of these topics. Anything else, just give me a call or email. Email is always best. Thank you, guys.